Hey YouTube world, doing a video today on the Diana Chaser kit. You know, I think, hang on a minute, this guy's done this before. Well, yes, I have. Done a couple of videos on the .22 caliber that I have. This one is a .177. Yes, I did it. Not happy with the accuracy of the .22 caliber. It's a very nice, simple rifle. Well, it's a pistol rifle combo. I'm not going to cover that today because I don't want to go too long. But anyway, roughly 130 bucks, two barrels, pistol barrel, rifle barrel has the suppressor. Very nice gun. CO2 powered, single CO2 cartridge. There's much better reviews online for the Diana Chaser if you want to learn more about the gun. Because I'm not very happy with the .22, and the issue is when you load a pellet, a lot of the pellets are really, really tight. I mean, you have to put an insane amount of pressure on the bolt to feed the pellet into the barrel, to the point where I push the back of the bolt so I'm not putting too much pressure on the arm. Because, I mean, you know, it's ridiculous on the 22. A lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot. There is a few videos complaining about the same thing. A guy in the UK even drilled it out slightly, which I will admit I did. It helped some. But on a few pellets, it was so tight to push them in to get them to, you know, in the beginning of the barrel. I then used a barrel cleaning rod to push the pellet back out, and the damage on the skirt is just unbelievable. It's no wonder that the thing's not very accurate. So I thought I want to try the .177. I always felt that, you know, maybe I should have got the .177. Well, now I've done it. So I've only put a couple of hundred pellets through it. Quick story, I actually exchanged another air rifle that I purchased through Pyramyd Air, the Umarex Fusion 2. I had it. It failed on the first day. I boxed it up, sent it back. This is why I haven't done a review on it. I just was not happy. So I sent it back and exchanged it for this guy. Just the Umarex Fusion 2 accuracy was good for a CO2. The power was good. It was nice and quiet. It was the CO2 system was horrible. It could take the 88 to 90 gram CO2, which would be the way to use it if you get one, if you want one. But the cost of the CO2 in those 88 to 90 grams, when you factor it down into a shot, cost per shot, it's 4 times more expensive than buying the 12 gram CO2s. I wanted to use it with 12 gram CO2. It takes 2. It gives you an adapter. And let me tell you, the concept of having 2 in there is just a ridiculous idea. It just fails and fails and fails. The first CO2 cartridge, they sit back to back. The first one, you know, it wouldn't pierce most of the time until I put a dime between the two to pack it out a little bit more. It's just a nightmare. It was terrible. Then the first one would get stuck. There's no port lock on these guys to retrieve it, so you're pulling the adapter out all the time and slamming it on a bench to even get the empty cartridge out. Horrible. Umarex Fusion 2, a lot of people have covered this. If the adapter was built for a single CO2, good gun. Anyway, back to the Diana Chaser. I have 9.177 pellets, so at 10 yards, I decided to do 4 shots of each, so we're just going to have a look. Starting with a very simple dome pellet. Now this was the Winchester. It doesn't give me a weight, but most of these are 7.8 to 8.4 grains. I've got 2 heavier guys, which are these 2 guys here, which are about 10.5. All right, so we'll start with the dome, just a regular dome pellet. There's 4 shots. Not a great grouping. Crossman hollow points, Premier hollow points. And by the way, it's the day before Independence Day here in central Pennsylvania, one of my favourite days of the year. And it's hot. It's going to be like 94 degrees. So anyway, there's the hollow point, not a bad grouping. I know it's only 4 shots, but not bad. But we're only talking 10 yards, so still not super impressive. The H&N Barracuda, come on focus, Hunter Extreme. Oh, there you go. That's what it looks like. So a lot of these are kind of the same. I'm going to jump over to this page. Daisy Wad Cutter. Not that they call them a wad cutter, but that's what it is. Flat nose on it. Did okay. As you can see, that's the bullseye. Not a bad grouping. Some of these they don't have any. They've just got a clear lid. So this is the Gold Flight. This was also like 7.8 grains. Nice hard tip on those. That did very nicely. Crossman Destroyer, one of my favourite pellets. I just wish they were a little bit heavier. Where's my Crossman Destroyer? There we go, 7.4 grains. And very nice grouping out of the Crossman Destroyer. Trying to get my phone to focus. And the Red Fire, again, no lid that I can show you. That did very, very well. I'm pretty impressed with that. There's 4 shots. I know we're only talking 10 yards, but, you know, considering some of the other results. Now, the last two will get down to the heavier ones. Again, no lid to show you, but this is the Crossman Copper Domed. I really like these pellets. These pellets do very well out of my Daisy Powerline 880. Not as impressive here, but these are like 10.5 grains. They hit very hard for a .177 caliber. They hit very nicely. You know, you're talking 20%, 25% heavier than most of the other pellets. And likewise, also about 10.5 grains, the Gamo Silent Cat. And I have a fear, again, these out of the Daisy Powerline 880, really good hard hitting and straight. They've got a very long, pick this guy up. They have a very long skirt. But I have a fear that they're not being made anymore, because I can't find them anywhere. So anyway, there's some results for you. Now you'll notice all of these are slightly bottom right to the bullseye, some worse than others. As you can see, the heavier ones are further away. So that's a sight readjustment, scope readjustment if you want to run the heavier pellets. But I've got this sighted in for closer to 20 yards instead of about 25 yards, where this test was done at 10 yards. All right, so as you can tell, obviously all of these come out of the barrel a little to the right and then straighten up. So that's important too with your more moderate powered. I wouldn't say this is low powered, but your more moderate powered air guns, you're going to have to really sight the things in for the distance you want to work at. But I've got to tell you, these Red Fires have operated nicely out of the Daisy Powerline, but they really seem to suit the Diana Chaser very well. Again, I wish they were a little heavier, but I've got to say, I took out a sparrow yesterday at a true 50 yards, and I went a little bit of holdover. How can I say this? I aimed at 50 yards, I aimed just above the head of the sparrow to hit him right in the throat. So that's not bad. That's not much holdover for 50 yards for a pellet that's 8 grains at the max. So as you can see, very nice group. And I couldn't believe this thing at 50 yards. I really wasn't expecting to hit a sparrow, but I mean, it was an absolute cracker of a shot. And at little 8 grains, it was pretty fast too. You know, I pulled the trigger, and within half a second, I heard this thud, and the sparrow he was gone, instantly down. And he was sitting on the power line, so at the front. So I shot from my backyard to the power lines, and as I said, you know, just a slight holdover, and it just tracked perfectly straight. And was a beautiful shot actually, and he was dead before he hit the ground. Literally, you heard this loud smacking sound, and it was just instantly lights out. So anyway, that's a bit of a look at the pellets that I've run through this guy. I'm going to do this. I've done this with the Daisy Powerline, and I didn't record it. I didn't do a video on it, and I should, because the Daisy Powerline, man, again, that's got to be the best air rifle in the friggin' world when all things considered, for the the power, and you bring power and performance, bring everything down to the cost of the air gun. There's still no beating the Daisy Powerline 880 for under $40, and that as you can see, this thing doesn't seem to be very fussy on pellets. It'll do a reasonable job of most, but I reckon the Daisy Powerline it would be even better. So I'll do a video on that. It's not particular on pellets, on ammo at all. So the Destroyer did very well. Always one of my favourite pellets. A pointed hollow point. How can you get better than that? And the Redfire, which is pretty much the same concept. Pointed hollow point. But on this page, I stuck with dome shapes predominantly, even if they had some indentations, some expansion designs in them. These are still round domed pellets. Not bad. None of them did horribly. So yeah, so far, for my money, the golds did well, but I think the two winners out of these 9 would be the Crosman Destroyer, which these are so cheap. It's like a tin of 250 is like $3.28 at Walmart, and these are about $10 for $1.50. Come on. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the phone today. Anyway, look, we're coming up on 12 minutes. That's enough. So far, I'm much happier with the .177 over the .22 in the Diana Chaser kit.